Good morning, everyone. To begin this auspicious occasion, I request everyone to kindly rise for the prayer. Tamil Thai Valthu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் எக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியந்து செய்ய மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you. Please be seated.
May I request Mr. K. Karthik, Vice President, PSG Tech Alumni Association, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning. Good morning. A warm welcome to all. I'd like to specifically welcome Dr. Vijay, Director, International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, ARCI, Department of Science and Technology. I'd like to welcome Dr. B. Giriraj, Principal, PSG Polytechnic, Dr. Krishnamurthy, Professor and Head, Department of Metallurgical Engineering, and myself, Karthik, standing before you to welcome you all for this endowment lecture that happens throughout the year with each department and organized by the PSG Tech Alumni Association. So from the Alumni Association part, as the Vice President, it is my duty to welcome you all and just indicate you about what we do at the Alumni Associations. Particularly, our Alumni Association is a very huge family consisting of all alumni for the past 70 years or more. And we have our alumni spread throughout the world. And this year in particular, 2026 is a very special year for us. Basically, this is the 75th year of our college and the centenarial celebration of our college trust, PSG Trust. So we have a huge line of programs that are coming up, that are started in December and coming up throughout the year. So, and one of the main points what I'd like to highlight is the products of PSG products. A huge exhibition that is going to take place in the month of December, from December 9th to 13th, particularly products or services that are going to be exhibited by alumnus of our institutions. That includes PSG College of Technology, Polytechnic, and other allied institutions of PSG, like PSG Arts and things. So this is going to be a very huge affair. Roughly about, we are planning about 1,000 plus stalls that are going to come up at Codicia, along with what you call a lot of technical collaboration and other things that are going to take place. And with regards to this meeting, I think we have a very good eminent speaker here who is going to share his experiences along with you for your future career and your growth. So with this, I'd like to end my speech and like to welcome you all again for this endowment lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We shall now proceed with honoring our guest speaker. May I request Dr. B. Giriraj, Patron, PSG Tech Alumni Association and Principal, PSG Polytechnic College, to do the honors to our guest speaker. Thank you, sir.
Next, I request Dr. B. Giriraj to deliver the presidential address.
Chief guest of this function, Dr. R. Vijay, Director, International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, Dr. Krishnamurthy, the HOD of Metallurgy Department, Mr. Karthik, Vice President of PH Tech Alumni Association, Dr. Prasad Raju, the former scientist from DST, faculty members from PSG Tech, Polytechnic, PSG Institute of Advanced Studies, guests, and my dear student friends. Let me join Mr. Karthik in welcoming you all for this fourth edition of Dr.G. Padmanabham Endowment Lecture, which is on the title Materials and Processing Technology. See, for the growth of any institution of this magnitude, there are so many people who are supporting. And as far as research is concerned, we have got a lot of support from people, either directly or indirectly. And today we are just trying to remember one such person who has supported PSG College of Technology, in particular the Department of Metallurgy, in so many ways, not only PSG Tech, even the PSG Institute of Advanced Studies. So it's really a pleasure to remember him and then conduct an endowment lecture as a remembrance. So a brief about Dr. Padmanabham. So he is a distinguished scientist and director in International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, Hyderabad, which is an institution which is funded by the DST. So about 4 years back, he passed away when he was in USA due to COVID. He was a well-wisher of all the PhD institutions, and he has extended valuable services in the DST also. So way back in 1990 to 2005. And later on, he was with ARCA. And many of our research faculty from both the PSG College of Technology and PSG Institute of Advanced Studies have got benefited from his expertise and support. One of his outstanding contribution is that the establishment of the Center of Excellence in Welding, which is supported by the Ministry of Heavy Industries. So he was an expert committee during that period, and then he strongly recommended that the PSG Tech should take up this particular project. So this particular center has two aspects. One is regarding the development of welding electrodes, which was attached to the Department of Metallurgical Engineering. The other one was something related to the electrical drives, which was attached to the Department of Robotics and Automation. So both these departments together, they are doing a lot of activities, research activities with big funding from the Ministry of Heavy Industries. So this particular Center of Excellence will always remember the contributions of Professor Padmanabham. And he also extended the use of some of the sophisticated and state-of-art facilities that are available in places wherever he worked, and many of our colleagues got benefited. And of course, he was closely associated with our former principal, Dr. P. Radhakrishnan, and definitely they both have definitely mentored all the research faculty in our institution, and whatever research and fundings that we are getting right now, or we continue to get, is because of the initiation of Professor P. Radhakrishnan, and of course in the area of metallurgy by Professor Padmanabham. Now he has received a lot of awards, Dr. Padmanabham. DAAD Humboldt's Fellowship Award from Germany, and then Andhra Pradesh Scientist Award, and then Distinguished Alumni Award from his alma mater, IIT Warangal, and then Lifetime Achiever Award from SCI India. So these are some of the achievements, and of course, being a researcher, he has published more than 110 papers, 8 doctoral research work, and then about 30 PG level theses. He has filed 14 patents, and then about 18 technology transfers he has done. So that speaks volumes about what type of person is being remembered today. So he was closely associated with our PSG College of Technology, and in fact his daughter was also a student of PSG Tech. So she studied here computer science engineering between the period 2008 to 12. So that association still continues. So as a mark of his remembrance, Srimati Rekha, the wife of Padmanabham, has instituted this endowment lecture. And this is the fourth in the series, and we are really happy that today we could have Dr. R. Vijay here. So welcome to PSG Tech, sir, for taking time and then come over here and then talk to the students on this important topic of what is happening in your particular research institute. So with these few words, let me once again welcome you all for this particular endowment lecture series. And then let me also congratulate the Department of Metallurgical Engineering for initiating this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request Mr. P. Manikandan, Assistant Professor, Department of Metallurgical Engineering, to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. R. Vijay.
Good morning all. It is my privilege and honor to welcome our distinguished chief guest for today's function, Dr. R. Vijay. So Dr. R. Vijay is the Director of International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, ARCI. It is an autonomous R&D institute under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He obtained his B.Tech and M.Tech degrees in Chemical Engineering from the Regional Engineering College, Warangal, and he earned PhD, Mechanical Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Then he joined ARC as Scientist B in 1996 and has over 30 years of experience in research and development of advanced materials and processing technologies. His core research interest includes nanomaterials, high kinetic processing, oxide dispersion strengthened steels, lithium ion and sodium ion battery materials. Then capacitors, biomaterials and additive manufacturing, hydrogen storage materials. Over the course of his career, Dr. Vijay has successfully transferred 5 important technologies to industry: production of battery grade lithium ion phosphate, cathode materials for lithium ion batteries, dispersion strengthened tungsten jet vans, then silicon aerogel based thermal insulation sheets, lead free copper alloys for bimetal bearings. He has led around 15 prestigious sponsored projects from key national and international agencies, including the Department of Atomic Energy, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Department of Science and Technology, DST, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and international collaborations under the IGSTC and GITA. Dr. Vijay holds 25 patents and has authored 55 scientific publications. His contribution to science and technology have been recognized with several honors, including the DAAD Fellowship, Indo-US Fellowship, then Engineering of the Year Award from the Institute of Engineers, the Distinguished Researcher Award from the Federation of Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and the MRSI Material Science Annual Prize for the year of 2025. He is a fellow of the Indian Institute of Engineers and the Telangana Academy of Sciences. He also holds several key advisory roles, including Senate members of Indian Institute of Technology, Tirupati, member of Scientific and Research Advisory Committee for the Kotak School of Sustainability at IIT Kanpur, adjunct professor in the School of Engineering, Science and Technology, University of Hyderabad, and governing council member of the Maitwai Center at National Center for Additive Manufacturing. Then Dr. Vijay continues to lead ARCA in advancing cutting-edge material research and technology development with a strong focus on industry relevance and national mission objectives. So now I request our guest speaker to deliver fourth Dr. G. Padmanabham Endowment Lecture, Materials and Processing Technologies at ARCI. So stage is yours, sir. Welcome, sir.
good morning to you all, especially Dr. Prasad Raju and people from PSG College and my dear students. Good morning. And yeah, it's a privilege and I'm honored to deliver Dr. Padmanabham Endowment lecture because he is my mentor, philosopher, guide, and a friend. So my association with Dr. Padmanabham, it all started from somewhere in 2004, 2005, 2004 when he actually started his career at ARCI after serving as a science administrator at the Department of Science and Technology. And then we used to have a lot of discussions because I was doing my PhD there, and my guide, Dr. Sundareshan, then he used to come every day 5:30 to Dr. Sundareshan's room, and we used to discuss, we three used to discuss, and I learned a lot from him. And subsequently, after he has become director, and then my role involved me in many programs, projects, and then many committees. And we worked together, and we delivered many things. And fundamentally, what he was is a firm believer that everything is a teamwork. And if you want to take anything from the lab to the market, and it involves a multidisciplinary expertise, and that cannot come from one individual. And you have to bring in people with that complementary expertise which is available, and then to bring them on the table. And it's very difficult, in India especially. We are all good at as a single person, and then we are actually not that good, as when we join. 1 + 1 in India, it's not 2, it's less than 2. That's what we get a thing. But now things are changing, and then we are trying to work on that, and then trying to change, trying to bring in that trust and confidence and collaboration between various people. Then we want to try that 1 + 1 should become 11, and that's what we are working towards it. And then people have realized it, people have understood, and then people are changing, and then many things which are coming out. So before doing that, actually I would like to, we have made a video. Of course, it's not just it's a presentation and then made it into a video, looking at capturing his evolution, his growth, and then his contribution into one single PPT. I would like to play that. First, before starting my talk, because some of the things, which I have also put it in my presentation based on the lessons I learned from him, and how we are moving forward, and then how the ARCA is performing with that. So this is what So he's born in 1965 as a small baby, and he was the eldest among his siblings. He obtained his PhD in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi for his research on the welding. Then, of course, his marriage, MTech in industrial metallurgy from the National Institute of Technology, Warangal. He is also my senior at NIT Warangal, and BE mechanical engineering from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. So he's also received a DAD fellow and other things. And this is what his association with ARCA started in 1990s when Professor Ramarao was the secretary, and our GS Bhattacharjee was the chief project officer. And you could always see that the young man, the second from right, is Dr. Padmanabham. And of course, he was also doing the international activity there, center, at DST, and many collaborations he has done. And when he took over as an ARCI, as then with the center, one of the exhibitions of the laser processing of the materials, in that, you could be able to see, even though he was elder, but he has got a good, what do you call, a sense of humor, and also to connect it to the younger people and then everyone. That's what it is. And various committees, of course, he also played a very important role in the Welding Society of India. And he's with Dr. Madhusudan Reddy, and then, of course, with the Minister Harshvardhan visited our ARCI when he was a director. And we have also, as a 25 years of ARCI, we have hosted under his leadership TechX. So so he has done several joining, surface engineering, machining, refurbishment solutions for various sectors. That's what he has done. Right, of course, this is all it is studied there. Yeah, even you can see that with Dr. Satish Reddy, former Secretary DG and all. Yeah, with the K.A. Padmanabham, who is actually started, he was former director IIT Kanpur, and he was also National Nanomaterials Mission Director. And with the Germany, we have a lot of collaborations. We got from ZOS, we got from SLM. And it is his group, laser processing group. And this is another technology which is transferred on solar energy materials. And this is on the incinerators, honeycomb structured based honeycomb incinerators. This is another technology what he has developed. And he's also got a fellowship from Abdul Kalam Technology Mission and at ANE. And of course, is also an INE fellow. Yeah, many people came, all state government, we used to coordinate with T-hubs and IT and then Energy Ministry. All those bureaucrats used to come. There are many TV shows he is involved in, he has given. And actually, everybody now government is talking about visibility, impact, social media and everything. And that is actually even started in 2015 at ARCI. And that was an initiative by him. Yeah, many TV shows to propagate science and then bring people to the science. Of course, many other events at ARCI. Independence Day, Republic Day. Of course, he's also with the students, outreach programs we conducted. He's a patient listener. And I have not even seen him getting angry, right, shouting at others. And of course, we built a Professor Ramarao's bust by additive manufacturing, and that was presented to him. And our governing chairman, council chairman, Professor Dr. Anil Kakotkar, he was a former chairman Atomic Energy. And Professor Manna, Indranil Manna. and the inauguration of solar thermal unit by him, what we established, that's a test facility, what we have 10 kilowatt solar thermal facility, what we have established to test. Of course, with our former first director, Dr. Sundarajan and Dr. Joshi, and annual day celebrations, he was there. Yeah, that's an Ayudha Puja. He's also good, not only a scientist, engineer, but also a good sportsman. And many sports events he used to participate. He's a good cricket player and table tennis and lawn tennis player. That's what I mean. Actually, he won. He beat many people and then looking at the youngsters and then getting prizes. Yeah. And he's also another quality is he's a singer. So wherever the program, is there, he used to sing good songs. Yeah, his family and his granddaughter. Yeah, he was the person who has contributed for the translational research. That's what, and then he has got a lot of empathy. His personal relations and then is fantastic. And he helped many people. And he was there at any time to be there, to stand with you all the time. And what we have seen, you see, these are all the things. What actually we take is his path, his torch, and his baton, what we are carrying it at ARCI. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's for the show, what you could able to do it. And this, if I want, I can leave it with the PSG for them to keep it with you, right? So you can keep it with this, keep this video with you. It gives you whole things which we have taken. So this is my talk. It's maybe a little bit, as a kind of a, it's not just a scientific talk. I will show you some examples and all. But let us understand, go to the bottom, and then what exactly we need, what we need in this generation. Because government is a very ambitious program. By 2047, we should be a developed nation, and then we should be a global leader in many of the areas in technology and in the manufacturing thing. So that's what, but then everything is one good thing is we have very young workforce, very young people compared to the other countries. So that's why you all people, you have a lot of responsibility, a lot of things, and then I do my time, my best to give you, to share my thoughts, and then how you can take it up, how you can think big, and how you can contribute, and how you can contribute not only to the technology, but also to the economy of your GDP of our country. So So I'll show you quickly some of the photographs because, he was a team, a delegation to Belarus under Indo-Belarus Science and Technology Collaboration. He was the chairman for the team, and then I am the secretary. And we have took an Indian delegation as around 7-8 people, and then Dr. Anuradha is also a member for that, and then she's there in that photograph. And we have a lot of meetings, and then it's all nanomaterials and then advanced materials we could able to see, and then we could also sign an agreements with those people, and then opportunity to visit various institutes, talk to the various scientists there, and that's what I thought I could share my some photographs with him. But unfortunately, I didn't have photographs, even though we spent a lot of time at ARCA and then involved in many things. But I was actually searching in the last 1 month, what are the photographs I have, at ARCA, but I couldn't, find anything. Sometimes we neglect, sometimes we just put it somewhere else and then we forget about it. But then afterwards, when I want to try to search it, we don't get it. But the question is, that's also another lesson. I should also store, whatever it may be. I should not throw away and then, store it in, some cloud or somewhere else. Yeah. So that's all the photographs I shared. What's my thing in that? So what's exactly is in, you are in an academic institute. You are teaching. I mean, there are faculty, and then you have all students. So what's academic research? It's not just an education, but then you also do a research on that. How do you do that? So the faculty, you can see that curiosity. So you start thinking about it, how this vehicle is moving, or how this is flying, or how this is coming green, and then how it is to that. It's observing the nature, observing the things, you have to have a curiosity. Then you also sometimes, some people will work on intellectual satisfaction. That means, I have knowledge, I have acquired knowledge, and then I have a capability, I have a capacity, and then I can do some research and then do the things. And also people also start reading, start learning, and then add to improve existing knowledge. And then that's all, after BTech, you go to the MTech, you go to the PhD, you do that. And people do some proof of concept. Once you have a curiosity, once you learned it, and then you want to do something else, then, you do it at a proof of concept in the lab. And then train students. You also train, train students with the various skills so that they can take it up. But what are the outputs from the academic research? It's all coming thesis. Of course, your MTech thesis, or it starts with your BTech project thesis, then you also have MTech thesis. Then you also research publications, if you have PhD and other things. Then you also have an improved understanding of that. Once you are doing the thesis, once you are reading the I understand everyone is writing their own thesis, right? So they are not just copying from the previous theses, right? But one thing they don't understand is, I just wanted to say is, what are all you done? What are all you have learned in the curiosity? They remain in the papers only, right? So you don't take it, you don't understand what could be the potential of it. You don't think about it, what the potential of this knowledge, what you have obtained or what you have done. And that is missing in an academic research. And that has to be taken up further. People think about it. So we can see that, many of, I don't think that, many of your inventions will become products. Because in a world statistics average, it says that, only 2% of the patents will have actually commercialized. And remaining things, you protect so that, the competitors do not make it. And some of them may not be viable also, but then you have that kind of an idea or that kind of anything, you have protected it, you have IP, you have protected it. Then what happens is, once you have done the proof of concept, you should also look at it, challenges with the scale up and commercialization. You see, you cannot just say that, in the lab scale, say that, I have developed a technology and then you can start commercializing it. But then it has to go through a lot of things. First is you have to, you see in the lab what you do, it's in only coupon level, you do the proof of concept. But you have to do that if you have application, you need to do that component making or a product making or a system making, which have to be done. So all those things, they have a lot of challenges, you have to do that. See, what is exactly is researchers in academic settings often driven by excitement of scientific breakthroughs and may have no interest in how or who may be able to utilize the research results for the greater good. So you may end up, I have published in Nature, I have published in Journal of Energy, or I have published in high impact factor journals. Just forget about it. Then you will not think beyond that, you will not take efforts to take that into a product. Because ultimately what you need is you have two pillars, you have to balance out. One is the knowledge. See, I always say that, everyone, starting with that, do that with the Saraswati Vandana, right? And then say that, Goddess, give me a knowledge, give me the things. But at the same time, you should also pray Lakshmi, right? Because that's the money you need. Without money, you cannot exist. That's a fact. So you need money to learn, to get the knowledge. And then knowledge to generate money. So it's a two, together have to go. So you have to use knowledge to generate money. And then invest that money to generate more and more knowledge. And that's what we need to do it, right? And so that's why what happens is it becomes extremely challenging and requires redoing things from scratch if lab scale work did not take it into account amenability of the process for the scale up. You might have used some fancy process and then other things, but then practically it might not be possible, right? And then I will tell you some of the things. Some of the things is, we have been doing it, everybody knows that electric vehicles, I'll come back to that topic, I'll explain you how we have solved it. And it needs, everything processing is to be in the dry room. You need to do it at 10% of RH, and then it should be do it less than 1% of the RH. And you imagine a big factory, which is of around 10,000 square feet area, or even 10,000 square meters of area, which is actually maintained with a dry room of 10% RH. It's an energy guzzler. And it puts a lot of maintenance costs, a lot of all those things. Suppose if you have a technology which you can develop that in an open ambience, and then you can save, and then you don't have the control of that. And that's what it happens, right? And majority of the small and medium enterprises in India are not willing or capable of working or enhancing higher TRL levels. That's what I've been telling in the morning. Many, after the post-liberalization, what people are talking about is, you can take license from already established technology or industry in Europe or US, take license and then start making and then start putting up an industry and then start making it and then selling it. But they are not able to invest money on the R&D, invest money on the development, and then invest money in taking up new things. See, suppose if you want to go and then say that first question, no, yaar, chalta yaar, I'm good. And because I'm not able to adopt, right, your thing. What I'm doing it, I'm making money, and then I'm fine. I don't want to do any other experiment, or I don't want to take it up other things. So that's a message you get from it's a very, very hard task, tough task to convince an industry to invest money and then to take up the new work. Because they are in the comfort zones. But the question is, you have to come out of those comfort zones, everyone. Then only things will happen. And preoccupied with the business challenges, their own things, and then no dedicated their human resource things or anyone else, because they have their own limitations, I'm not saying that. And little or no budget allocation for the research. And prefer to invest in process or technologies that promise revenues in short time frame. So they want quick money, right? And then no past experience or working with academic institutions. So that's what actually limiting it. You have the phobia. And then, there also everybody says that if you go to the academic institutions, they will only publish papers and then technology will not come. And that's a second problem. Because on the other hand, research institutions, academic institutions, we think that industry is not coming to us. But industry says that academic institution will not deliver it. So both, that's why, they always stay in their cocoons. But the thing is, they have to come together, they have to work together. And that's the reason, I have introduced in ARCI a scheme, say that, my scientists can go and then spend time in an industry, a month, and then going there, trying to understand their ecosystem, trying to understand their challenges, they're trying to understand their problems, and then come back, and then talk to them and then find the solutions and then give it to them. At the same time, those industry people also will come back to my institute and then work with my scientists. And that's the reason we need to bridge, we need to shake hands and then walk together. And that's a scheme I have introduced from this year. And many people have availed. Initially, I started with already, we have an agreements with an industry to develop some of the technologies. And then everyone should do that. And then only then industries will get confidence, and then academic institutions also, the researchers, you students will get a lot of exposure. And what actually, see, what you are doing it in a, simply sitting in AC rooms or then sitting in a lab and then doing that. But that's not, life is very tough in an industry, sitting on the shop floor and especially in the manufacturing industry, looking at the targets, what you have to deliver. And then one equipment breaks down, the time you have to take it up to put it back. It's a very, it's a tough time. People should undergo that, then only they understand. And then often that answering to all bureaucrats working on, and then looking at the tax guys, and then other pollution control guys, and then our inspector of factories, and then coming back and then answering to those questions, right? It's a tough. So that's why what I'm trying to say is enhancing return on investment, right? From research beyond impact factor, 3 orient research. That's what I'm just proposing it, so that people think about it and then discuss, debate, and then come out, so that ultimately our goal is the research what we have done should not just leave it to the papers and publications. It should go out from the lab and then to the industry. So what we should do is, they have scale up their process, what are they doing that, and then taking into a product, taking into a component, taking into a system, design of the system. Then what I can see that choice of your problem statements, you have to be very naive in selecting your problem statements when you are working and doing that, right? So product development work requires going beyond comfort zone. That's what I'm trying to say, comfort zone of intellectual curiosity. So what you can do is you should have a strong desire, right? And then that should be driving you to go beyond publications. And solutions to a problem faced by consumers, it can be anything, many of the other things. Do you remember that how the Ola has come? And those 2 software guys, they came to France and then to have a business meeting there. And then they came back from the office, and then on the road, and then they have to take it up, go to the airport. And they don't know where to go to their taxi stand. And then to learn about, to know where to go to the taxi stand and all, to get a taxi to go to the airport, they have to spend another half an hour. So they are all under tension whether they can get a flight back to US or they will miss the flight. And during that time, when they come back, when they are traveling from France to Europe to US, they thought that why can't you develop an app which brings in those taxi people and then consumers on a single platform, and then they can select a cab, and then they can give so that the cab fellow understands that, there is a customer who is actually requesting or who is wanting a taxi, right? So that's what first it has come. You have to see that what is the consumer, what exactly you need it. And then now, of course, all these service sectors, apps and all which have come, Swiggy, Zomato, all those things which have come up. And then they made their, what do you call, remote kitchens, popularized, right? So that's the thing. It's a revolution, what you have done. But what we have done is in the service sector. But what I want to do it in the manufacturing sector. And that's what, we are all here, we learned, and then that is our bread and butter, right? And then that's all knowledge. And we can find out, what exactly on a product people are facing. Consumer goods, you can think about it. What's the problem? You can watch your washing machine, you can watch your, refrigerator, you can watch your ceiling fan. And then looking at all the BLDC, now all the ceiling fans are replaced with the BLDC motors, You have a remote, they are being run with a remote, and then which needs a BLDC motors, which actually needs a magnet, and which is not available in India. The supply chain is not available in India. Then why can't we think about it, another motor, the fan runs with another motor with a higher efficiency, which doesn't need a rare earth magnet. So that's what, you can think about it, you can find solutions, right? And then keep on questioning scalability of the solution. Suppose, you identified a problem statement, then what can we have done? You should think that, if I follow this process, whether this is scalable, and this could be economical, all those things. So what's what? Cost benefit analysis you have to do. And then we always tend to any of the things, we try to do the research, immediately we buy all your chemicals from Sigma Aldrich or the Alpha Acer or Thermo Fisher and all. Obviously, they are all expensive. You can't expect an industry guy to buy the raw materials from this Sigma Aldrich or Alpha Acer or Thermo Fisher and then start, producing it. So they will always buy whoever is cheaper, whoever is industrial scale at which he needs it. There should be some fellow who is be manufacturing it at the capacity, at the rate at which the industry needs it. And then obviously it doesn't need for 4 nines purity. You need, do you need 4 nines purity or you need just 98% purity is enough or 99% purity is enough? So obviously with the purity, lower the cost. So whether you have to think that, can we do that? So that's why industrially available chemicals and other things, you should start working on things. Right, then of course, prior market information, that's what very, very important. Suppose if I want to have a product, then what happens? Whether does it have any market and who is going to buy it, who is going to use it? You have to understand their some of the things. I'll tell you, some of the products, there were no societal acceptance, even though technically it is very good. I could simply say that the Fiat car, it is the most designed as earlier Premier Padmini and other cars. I think, have you seen this generation? I don't know. So before this Hyundai and other cars came, we need to have Ambassador and then Premier Padmini, right? And then Suzuki cars. And that was the car which was certified and the safest car. And good performance, good mileage it used to give. But then society has not accepted it. Because the model itself, the ruggedness, the weight, and then other things, the customer felt very uncomfortable. That's why nobody bought, and then it perished over a period of time. So obviously, acceptability by the society has to be there when you are trying to design a product and trying to take it into the market. And of course, another thing is you have to protect your IP rights, and then you should also see that free from infringement of the rights of someone else. So that's what the patent mapping is doing that. So that's what, when you are looking at, if you keep that, this actually excites and then motivates the students, and then the whole teaching is not like a one-way direction, it becomes a two-way, right? And then more interactive sessions it becomes. So all that, academic institutions, it should become like an interactive sessions with the faculty and then students, and then more participation from the students. So this is what, with these things, now I'll jump on to the what we are doing it, right? So these are all the other things, keeping the big picture in mind about the applications and products. That's what I kept on talking about that, right? Earlier on that, utilizing industrial grade raw materials, visits, right? So you can also visit, encourage students to think in entrepreneurial model. So that's what I encourage every student to think, you should become an owner, not as an employee of some other person. So you should be able to create employment to the many people. And they should also get many programs. You should issue that TBIs, Technology Business Incubators. There are people who have there, like in IITs and then other things, there is a program. After second year, the student comes with an idea. Then it is all discussed, and then there are some selection will be done, and he will be associated with he will be attached to a professor who will be mentoring them, and then college also gives them a leave so that he can spend 2 years or 3 years on that. And then if he wants, he can come back and then finish another 2 years and then get his degree, or if he leaves it, he can get a diploma degree. So that's what the facilities are there in the colleges. So then students can think, students can spend time, and then only thing is earlier thing, they should be put it on a right track. So that's why there is a senior professor or who is the concerned professor will be attached to him as for mentoring purpose, and they are all there. Then you can also see incubators like IIT Madras or then ideas at IIT Bombay. And then And then you can also associated with other professional associations, so that there will be, you should attend conferences, and then you should also go there, and then local associations where you can also meet many people who are there working in that areas, so that you also know many industries which are coming out. Then you will understand what exactly you need. You will get a connect with not only with the scientists but also with engineers, and as well as for the industry entrepreneurs. That's what it is. And coming back to that, now I will tell you what ARCI is doing. That is a research, everybody knows, it's a research R&D institute. We also do have a PhD programs. We take research scholars and then we allow them to register in our other institutes. But the research is done at our campus, so ultimately they get a PhD degree from IITs or central universities. So what you have done that, on one hand in academic research, that's what you are doing that, you do that, and that's called invention. So that ends up with a publication, patent or publication. But on the other hand, it need to be an innovation where it's called commercialization. So that's another pinnacle, right? And then where industry wants to make money. The investors want to make money. Then entrepreneurs want to make money. And then the country wants to make money in terms of taxes. So in order to go from this pinnacle to that, then you have to cross that valley. And then many people die while crossing this valley. So that's why what we try to do is at ARCI is we will handhold the people, we will carry them, we have a models, and we know that, the techniques how to cross this valley and without dying. And that's what we bridge that gap. And what are all the different models we employ, into the lab to the market, right? So we can always say at lab level, whether it is with your curiosity or with your some industry which has come with some futuristic projects, or you apply for some government-sponsored projects with your early career grant or advanced research grant or fundamental research, you do that. Then you are also, once you have done as a proof of concept, then if you want to do a prototype, then you have to bring in multidisciplinary that's what I'm trying to say, expertise, complementary expertise, and then you also need funding. And whether you tap in industry doors or you tap it at the government schemes where government is funding from TRL 4 to the higher TRL levels, which are all funding schemes are available. Then you do the field trials, and then you also associate with an industry. Then you bring in, once the successful field trials are completed, industry wants to take it up, then, you transfer the know-how to an industry. And then at that time, industry wants to establish as a factory. Then they also need money, so they will go to the investors, they will mobilize money. And nowadays, mobilizing money is not a big challenge. And when I was reading, after, in 1980s and then 90s, mobilizing money is difficult. Even taking loan to go to US has become it was a very, very tough task at that time. No banks were willing to give, loans. But now money is available. You can get, funding. I can tell you, two startups in Hyderabad. One is Raghuvamshi and then other is the Skyroot, you might have heard. And they are all startups which are started 10 years back, and then now they have raised a funding more than 10,000 crores. That's what, if you have an idea, if you're able to convince, if you're able to do that, there are people. And then I'm saying on the other hand, I was also have an opportunity to discuss with the venture capitalists. And then venture capitalist says that, they have a lot of money. And then they need a good idea, good proposal for them to invest money. So money is availability of the money at the venture capitalists, investors is not an issue. But then issue is, you need to put up a proposal, proper proposal, convince them, then give that, on the how you get return on investment. And that's what you can do it. So now you have various opportunities, and then finally you go for the commercialization. Then you don't stop there. Then you try to improvise, and then you try to do incremental innovation, or you diversify. You get into the other fields. That's what the big industrial giants have become, right? So they diversified into the different things. So you might have looked at the Reliance. You might have started with only the textiles initially. But then they have diversified into the many sectors. Now they are also coming to the batteries and then rare earth magnets. So once you have money, once you have established it, you don't, become complacent. So you should think big and then get diversified. So as I'm looking at it is I'm a chemical engineering, but then I thought that I will only do the chemical engineering related. I will work in petrochemical refineries or somewhere else. I would not have been here. But I have taken up different things, including has core as biomaterials and then oxide dispersion strength and steels to the hydrogen storage to the battery materials, electrochemistry. So you see, you can always, it doesn't mean that, if you are doing metallurgy or the mechanical engineering, doesn't mean that, you confine to that. And then I'm going to tell that, the Ministry of Education is also thinking that, now BTech, they don't give you as a branch. No chemical engineering, no computer science, no electronics and all. So engineering is engineering, and then everybody is trained for multidisciplinary things. So you learn all these streams by the time he comes out from that. And that's what then, it should be very useful for him to think and then adopt and then, build his own career. So he should be able to do that. And if he needs very interested, he will do the specialization in those particular branches. So government doesn't want to confine yourself, saying that, I will do only mechanical engineering. You should think big. You should be totally, the horizon should be available to you. Right. So what models we adopt? Take it to our research from the lab to the market. Of course, we do government-funded projects we undertake. Then we also do contract R&D from industries. Either we propose the problem or solution to them, or they come with a problem statement. Then we do the technology transfer agreements, know-how transfer agreements. Then we also work together, with the beginning idea, then industry and then institute work together. And some part will be done by them, some part will be done by us, and then it comes with a cooperative research and development agreement. And finally, our target is going into a technology and then will be commercialization. Then we also do the public-private partnerships. And some of the things we can use the facilities, because, establishing facilities to make a prototypes may be difficult. Then you can scout for the facilities which are available at the industries, at the private entrepreneurs, and then bring them in so that, you get their facilities free of cost, but then you give them that, some share in then your IP to them. So that's why you can do that, it's a win-win situation, so that, you can have a prototypes and then you can take it to the field trial, so you don't have to wait for the money, what you need. Then GOCO models, it's a government, fantastic, government has supported a lot of money in establishing state-of-the-art facilities, whether it is from the welding, additive manufacturing, or the welding, or the powder making, or coating facilities, or melting facilities, good facilities in a reasonable scale. And what we have done is, these facilities, we make them for a startup to establish, they are all cheaper. Everything you talk about more than 10 crores, more than 5 crores. So, but initially till he stands on his own, we allow them to use our facilities and then pay the user charges, so that he can bring his manpower and then he can use his facilities, start producing it and then selling it in the market. And we also do that incubation. Our incubator is recognized by the DPIIT and DST and MHI, which is known as Technology Business Incubator for the area of energy, batteries. That's what it is, do that. And if you are looking at all that, the thrust areas, we talk about solar energy materials, then advanced materials and batteries, then coatings, engineered coatings, fuel cells, and laser processing and additive manufacturing, we do take care of. And we have done more than 35 technologies to 50 receivers we have done over a period of, this is our 30th year, and 350 plus technological solutions we have provided to industries. Whether it's a supply of products or it is it's a solution what you are doing it, whatever it may be. So this is what, and of course, we do it a lot of human resource development because we take people, graduate trainees, postgraduate trainees. You can always apply immediately after the BTech, so that you have a thing that how the research, how the translational research goes on, and you can always come to ARCI and join us as a graduate trainees. And I was also looking at as a polytechnic colleges, we also introduced a scheme for ITIs and then polytechnic people, they can come and spend time. And that's a big challenge, if you want to have an industry, but we don't have a right skilled manpower available to spend time on the shop floor to operate machines and other things. Earlier all those machines, everything will be operated by an ITI person or a diploma person. Shop floor is managed. But industries are struggling to get those people because the number from the polytechnic or from ITI are less. If you're looking at my state, Telangana and then Andhra Pradesh, if you're looking at, there are no guy going into polytechnic or the ITI because government has introduced a free fee reimbursement for an engineering. And then everybody is going to the engineering college and then they are coming up. I have seen my people when we advertised in my purchase, admin and stores, engineers are getting selected and then they are working as an assistants in stenographers, assistants in admin, finance and stores. And that is what it is. So, and then you also might have seen that, earlier when you have our building electricians, they need to be certified ITI electrician used to work. Now, it is very difficult to get an electrician or a welder. And then any fabrication roadside jobs, there are no certified welders. And you are just learning and then they are doing, that's what we are believing it. And how do you employ them, when I want to weld a thing, reactor, which is used in the chemical industry? So that's a big challenge, people are facing it. So that's why we have also introduced for them, so they can, straight away from their college, they can come and then I'm going to employ them as a training things. And then it's all paid internships. These are all paid internships. I'm paying them. Right. Then when you are looking at, let's show you some of the, how we have solved, do you have how much time? Maybe 5-10 minutes, huh? Okay, right. Right, okay. So this is what, when you are looking at our electricity consumption, it's increasing. And then mostly we don't have still our energy security. We still import a lot of oil. Right? And then majority of the oil, see, we have enough coal. And then electricity is produced by the mostly thermal power plants and then mostly now the renewable energy, solar energy, we are producing it. But for our vehicles, whether it is our transport, light vehicles or the heavy duty transport vehicles or even the railways, everything, we are importing. All that crude oil, you might have seen, all the petrochemical things, right? And still it is growing, but still it is less than the global average per capita energy consumption. If you are looking at, 12 gigawatt hours, that means 12,000 units per person consumes in US. 12,000 units. So 1,000 units consumed by one person. Even my house, my things, we consume only 200 units, right? 200 or 250 units a month, right? That's a thing. And that's what it came, no? Average is around only one, so it's only 12,000. So that means 1,000 units per year. So when you are producing energy, you also generate CO2. So we can see that, the grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour, you can see. Even when you are looking at oil, you get 840 and coal 1001. So we are using mostly coal. So we generate coal, much CO2, and then which is everybody knows. And then government also assigned that by 2070 India should become net zero for CO2. So we have to work that, to check so there is a lot of things. And then there is also another opportunity for government started is we are also importing natural gas, and which is nothing but methane gas. And because you might have seen that, because of the recent geopolitical disturbance, we had many things got affected. And to overcome that, and then we have a lot of source for the coal. And government has initiated a national mission program on coal gasification. And don't think that it is only the chemical engineering problem, but then in the coal gasification, there are metallurgical problems. A lot of coatings are to be done, a lot of pumps, and then, you mean to say that the coal, pulverized coal when it is pumped in, and then the tubing and all, they get eroded. So you have to develop, erosion resistance coatings in the tubes, and without affecting the pressure drop there. So that's another challenge, how do we do the coating inside a tube which is of around 3 meter long? And that's what you can have a wonder coating, and then you have to develop a technique, how do we access, a 1 foot diameter tube, and then go into the 3 meters and then coat. So these are all the other things. So, and then you are actually going at, we are all doing well in the solar energy because of this, that residential homes, given that government is pushing it, Suryaghar, right, PM Suryaghar, that scheme, and up to 5 kilowatt, they are giving a lot of subsidy, and the 60,000 per kilowatt, that's the cost, it is coming up, and that's why it is all increasing it. But the biggest challenge is you still depend on in the night time, you have to still depend on the grid. And even though you are in the daytime, you may not use much electricity. But in the night time, you require more electricity, and then at that time, solar energy is not available. And you have to still depend on the conventional energy, fossil fuels. But in order to do that, you need to have a storage energy systems are to be developed. Whatever the energy which is generated during the daytime using these renewables are to be stored. And that's why now people are coming up, battery energy storage systems. See, earlier we used to have a challenge, we used to have only lead acid batteries, its energy density is very, very low. It is only 10 watt-hour per kg. And it's, you have to put huge lead acid battery bank, and then that's going to take volume, weight, and then cost. Now, which is looking at a lithium-ion batteries, which comes up to around 150 watt-hour per kilogram, and you can store more energy in a very less compact things. And many people are coming up with the energy storage systems. Now, in the recent program which government has introduced in the solar mission program for the residential things, if you are looking for a solar plant, you have to have a compulsory 10 kilowatt hour or 20 kilowatt hour storage pack. So that, where all energy is stored, and then it will all be consumed. It depends upon your requirement. Then you can increase the storage capacity, even up to 40 kilowatt hours you can have it. So that way you can be independent of the grid, and then all the fossil fuel energy can be done. See, what happens is, there is also another problem. What is there is right now grid stability. That's also, I will come back to that point. And another biggest problem what you are looking at it is the electric, see, the most CO2 and then very dispersed way is from the vehicles. And other thing is, if anybody knows the efficiency of a combustion engine, it's only a 35-36%. So that means the calorific value of 1 liter of petrol, what you are putting in, actually you are using only 30% of it. And remaining 70% of it is going as a heat, and you are not able to utilize that. And then other thing is, and that's why, but then when you come to the electric vehicle, the motor now with rare earth magnet motors, it's coming to 80-85% efficiency. So the amount of energy per kilowatt hour, so you can actually go for the long distances. And that's why not only it serves two purposes. One is it removes the more dispersed pollution it is creating it on the roads. And it's a silent vehicle, no noise and all other things. But at the same time, the efficiency is much higher. So we are actually moving out from the 30% efficient. Even thermal power plants, it's only 37%. And remaining thing is just going into the ambience. It's a waste. The coal calorific value, you take it, the amount of energy is only 37-38%, not more than that. But then with the solar energy, you can, even though you concentrate, efficiencies of around 20%, so you are not actually dissipating any energy into the atmosphere. You are only trying to capture that. Now with the tandem solar cells, its efficiency is coming out to be 30%, 33%, it is coming up. So you can generate lots and lots, and then fortunate we have throughout the year we get good solar radiation, and we can generate a lot of solar energy. That's why, all the building which has come up, which is actually contributing to the more than 30% of our generation is coming from the solar energy right now. And then to store these batteries, you have different generations of the batteries, what you are looking at. And then what called battery cells manufacturing is, it's right now 4 gigawatt hour capacity industries, which is going to grow to 150 gigawatt hours by 2030. So you have a lot of opportunity, a lot of things, actually every component I would like to say is every component, it needs a lot of materials, electrode materials, both cathode and then anode. Then you also have a current collectors, you have aluminum foils and then copper foils, and you also have a tabs to connect it, you have a nickel tabs. So all those things are not made in India. And you have a very high opportunity, such a fine, thin aluminum foil of around 20 microns. 20 micron aluminum foil, which giving you sufficient strength and durability, is need of the hour. It is done with the rolling. And then other point is, it's just not an aluminum foil, but then it is all carbon coated. And carbon coated of around 1 micron thick. And or even submicron thick. And then how do you get that kind of a coating? Such a thin coating. And you have to use it should be cheaper. So these are all the challenges, you can always try to do that. We have been working with MHI in advanced cell chemistry components. These are all being identified, and then government is pushing up thrust areas and then trying to incorporate, trying to bring in the industries to work with the academic institutions. So you can build career in development of all those materials. And this is what LFP, what we have developed for the electric vehicles. And what we have done, initially, I'll tell you the story. When we had taken up this LFP material, then we have used one process, and then we made cells, we found out, and then we jumped from the rooftop, we shouted from the rooftop saying that, we have developed technology, and then it's ready for transfer. But when we have come back, when we are talking to the industry asked the first question, what could be the cost? And then when we went back and then worked out the cost, it was 3 times, 4 times the cost, than the imported cost. And then how do you expect industry to adopt this? Then when we went back and then went back to our drawing rooms and then found out, then we have extra time, actually Dr. Padmanabham helped us, how do we bisect, and then how do we compartmentalize, and then how do we work on? We are looking at the raw material one, that's the cost. Then we are looking at an equipment utilization, what kind of equipment you are doing it, and what kind of characterization or the quality control processes you are doing it. And then when we worked out, then we found that the raw materials used are expensive. So you cannot generate a cheaper material using these raw materials, even at the industrial scale. So then we thought, then again we started from zero, saying that, we changed another cheaper materials, and then we selected another new process. Then done that. Then another thing we found out, still our cost is higher. Then we were looking at we are using an equipment which was imported equipment which was costing 1 crore, 2 crore of that equipment. Then why can't we use this? So at that time we scouted at that time we have selected a process which is actually capability to manufacture that equipment is available in India. And then we went to an industry where that equipment is there. Then we entered into a public-private partnership, used those facilities. I could see those photographs in an industry. Then this is all in an industry. We used those facilities and then produced powders, large quantities, then made cells, then demonstrated, and then the cost is then cheaper than imported. Then the industries came and then took the technology, and this is what the technology transfer agreements we have done. And then they have been incubated, and then they established around 250 tons, 250 kg per day. That's a kind of a plant capacity, and then this is supplied to all these battery manufacturing plants, which are of Exide, Amar Raja, JSW, all those places have an even impact to the European countries. And now this guy is establishing a pilot plant of around 20,000 tons. then this will be ready by 2027. And that's what, you could say that we started with the grams at the lab scale, and that's what our journey, and then we could able to do that. And finally will be commercialized. And that's what many people, it's not just me. I mean, we have the whole team which have worked, including from the electronics person, then you have a chemistry, physics, then chemical engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers. So everyone have worked and then put it in. And here, actually, I would like to thank Dr. Padmanabham, who has actually made us to think in a different direction. When we were devastated, we spent 5 years, 6 years to develop the technology initial, and then when the industry came that, it says that, 5 times the costlier than the imported one. We were devastated because we spent 5 years, but then, we are actually counseled and then, sat and then handhold by Dr. Padmanabham, and then, these are the ways, these are the things, you have to bisect and then address, understand, then address. And that's what we could able to do this. And of course, I learned those skills, and then now I'm been implementing those things in further technology development programs. Of course, sodium-ion batteries, we have been doing it on the NVP, sodium vanadium phosphate, and then the hard carbon, what we are doing it. Again, large scale produced sodium NVP material, and compared, this is now from the beginning because we learned lessons. So when we started this process, I asked my scientists whether this can be scalable, this can be an economical. So then only we select the process. Right, and then we signed an agreement with a company for the sodium-ion batteries, and it's all for the demonstration. And hard carbon, we are doing it from the different things, either from the lignin or from the industrial waste or from Ambuja chemicals. Then we could able to see our port cells. We have a facility. We could able to make port cells. Then other is LFP LTO cells, high power capability cells. We could able to do it working with the drones, with the Magic Mina. All those cells we could able to do that. Then we have all these facilities, port cell, good state-of-the-art facilities what we have. And cylindrical cells, we could able to do this. Then we also have cell pack testing facilities. And this is what the startups we could able to support: Altimin, Cancri, IT Madras, Magic Mina, and many other people we are signing agreements now. And you could able to see. Now this is what one startup used our batteries developed by us for running the drone. And they are working with now the startup is supplying these materials to Mercedes-Benz. And they are established an R&D and the production facilities trying to establish at Bangalore. Yeah, and many startups what we are doing it. Then we also have a big project, ANRF project, on the right side is all industries. We could able to bring them. And there is, of course, you should be prepared to answer the hard questions by an industry. Right? Still, we are struggling to answer some of the questions by Amar Raja. Right? So then, we are also doing, quickly go through that hydrogen generation. We are working on, right? Everybody knows hydrogen is lighter, colorless, and then it contains higher calorific value. So equivalent to 1 kg of hydrogen is equivalent to 3 liters of petrol. So that's quite an energy what you can do that. But the question is, it's a very lightweight. How do we store? How do we transport? And we are working on different things you have to make. Right now, majority of the hydrogen is made by the methane reforming. And you take with the CH4 and then you reduce it, you get an hydrogen. That's what you are doing it. Still depends upon the crude oil or the natural gas. And electrolysis is a very, very known technique, but then it's a dirty process and also as an energy guzzler, right? It takes 50 units per kg of hydrogen. And but then what we have done is we have to trying to look at reduce the cost. All the The conventional electrolyzers use nickel plates, and then nickel is mostly is not available, and it's imported. And what we have done is stainless SS304, so that capability to make any form of SS304 is available in India. And then we made that, and then given that it has, because it has to work with a 6 molar KOH solution, highly corrosive environment, and given a oxidation coating to that, and that's thing, we done that, and what you can see, all those things, right? So that's what you can see. The cost of nickel is 1339, and platinum is 1348, and whereas steel is only 220 rupees a kg. So the capex comes down drastically. So we have used all these things with the stainless steel, replaced the nickel, and these are all our journey started with all those coated stainless steel, making electrolyzers, and then you can always see that the nickel is at that potential is 0.269 and current density is 300, but then our coated is 0.329 and then 241, and with the catalyst it is all matching. So stainless steel with the catalyst, so that's why we don't consume more current. With the same thing it will come out. Then this is what pictorially it is represented, right? If you're looking at normal stainless steel, if you use it, it gets corroded completely. But whereas if you have an oxidation resistance, the corrosion resistance coating, still it remains intact without getting affected. And we have done that, all that balance of plant, everything. So all those things which has come out, and then we started with a 1 kilowatt stack we have done. And then we are also first learning, old stack, it's big, lot of distances, then we learned lessons, and then made it is very compact. Then all these designs were done, right? And this is also demonstrated with one of the startups. They are using for an hydrogen stove they have introduced in the market, especially for not for the domestic, but then commercial kitchens in the restaurants and other things, where even though they're all run with an LPG burners, but even though they have exhaust fans, but then chefs and then other people, they spend almost 10 hours in a kitchen, and then they get exposed to all that burnt gases, CO2 and all. So in order to create good thing without CO, and then they are all shifting to hydrogen cooking practices. So for them, this can be connected with the stove. It's a plug-in play model. You can, when you switch on the knob, then obviously electrolyzer gets on and then supplies hydrogen to the burner, and then it gets ignites. And then we're done with the 1.5, still reduce the size, you can see that. And then less minimum gap, we could able to do that, still able to produce it, right? Then we could able to make all the stack with the BOP, everything, all those designs are there. We could able to build it. Then 3 kilowatt also we built it, and then we have generated, and then we have tested it at an industry, at the standard testing station, how it performance. You could able to see that. You could able to see with a nickel plated electrolyzer on par with that. Right. Okay, and this is what our journey on this electrolyzer. Right now, we are working with a company for the captive hydrogen generation requirements for stationary applications, right? So then we are also going to develop 10 kilowatt electrolyzer stack. That's a one. And then we also transfer this technology of methanol reformer with a proton exchange membrane to an industry, right? And then this gives you, can connect it to solar energy and then power it, and it takes around 17 units per kg of hydrogen. And we have transferred this technology. Demonstration is also completed. We have also given our facility and a GOCO model to this company till he establishes, till he as a commercial plant. Yeah. And we are also looking at a conversion of CO2 into any other product which can be used as a raw material in any pharma industry or any other chemical industry. And we have established a PEM electrolyzer to generate hydrogen. So that is connected to the solar panel. So you generate hydrogen and use it for, to convert CO2 into an organic compound. And that's what we are all doing that. So durable and cost-effective indigenous electrodes, cathode, anode, and then bipolar plates, what we have done. And then electrolyzers we have done, and BOP we have done, right? And then other things. And then I've been telling from the beginning that it's not just one single person. It's always, I'm a very firm believer that this also learned from Dr. Padmanabham, that together we win. We always work together and then bring in that complementary expertise, multidisciplinary expertise, to take it from a lab, a scale research, into a product which can be deployable, which can be commercialized, and then which can earn employment, and then which can also contribute to the GDP of our country. Thank you very much, and then thank you all organizers for giving me this opportunity to deliver this endowment lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful and enriching lecture. We will now have a brief question and answer session.
Yeah, any questions, students? I'm very happy to interact with you. Yeah.
ARCI faces, which issue could not be solved by you, and we as future engineers could crack it up with the help of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's a good question, because when you want to start, new materials, new future things. Suppose you want to start a new research area, you understood, this is what a problem, this is what anything. Then, you need to have your AI to throw me, and then to understand, what are all people have done it, and then what are the challenges, what are all the other things. Then it could able to throw you that, this kind of probably this kind of composition, or this kind of, say for example, when you are looking at high temperature materials, right? See, some of the things like IN 718 or CM247 LC superalloys, they are all good, when you are doing it in conventional wrought metallurgy or the so then, but when it comes to the same composition, I'll tell you, one of the Russian alloy is BL12Y. Then it's very good when you are melt it, cast it, forge it and all. But when you bring it to the same composition to the additive manufacturing, it doesn't. It breaks. So what exactly, when I want to do it is, I want to quickly learn that, what is the compositional tweaking, which is actually, I have to do it, or what is an alloying element which is actually making it to crack, during the rapid solidification process being employed in additive manufacturing. Then I can go to the AI and then do that. So that kind of capability is not there at ARCI. And if anyone wants to work on AI, we are welcome. We can connect with the scientists, and then, we can always work with that in the problem in identifying those kind of compositions, those kind of inputs, what can we have, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I was telling them they started with the methanol, but I told them, we don't make methanol using that. But we are actually looking at some of the chemicals which are all identified, I don't remember the names, but then which are actually needed in a pharma industry and any other chemical industries. So that it becomes a solid, and then it continues to be there for 10 years, 15 years and all. That's what it is. I want to do that, yeah. Everyone is, it's a thrashed out, converting from CO2 to methanol or ethanol is, everyone is talking about it. But, we told, again, they want to burn that and then convert into hydrogen and then doing into an energy, That's not sustainable. Yeah. You see, every year we announce for a summer internships, which is meant for second year and then third year grants. And you can look for our website. Generally, it comes in December or Jan, right? And you can apply for it. And people we take from, you see, that's why we get a lot of applications we take a lot of students there. And that's the one. And then other thing is, if you are a fresh graduate, I mean within 2 years also, you can always send in your application, and then our HR will direct it to the, based on your branch qualification, they will connect it to the scientists, and then you can be taken as a graduate trainee program. Right. So if you are a fresh, completed your degree, then you can just send your resume to our HR at ARCI. Right. And you can also look for some announcements and all. We are looking at all project stops. A lot of project stops we are taking them. Project scientists, project associates. You can always look for our ARCA website. Yeah. No, we are not propagating for generation at one place, and then it should be transported and then stored and transported and then used at domestic things. No, we are only looking at it as an onboard. So your stove comes with a hydrogen generator. So what you need is only an electricity plug, a power supply. So you connect there and then you switch on the knob, then hydrogen gets generated. It's a concealed, it's a concealed in a small box next to the stove. So that way you can avoid. Otherwise, hydrogen storage, that's a big challenge, another thing. Right.
Okay, so thank you, sir. With this, we end the question and answer session.
Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. B. Giriraj to present a memento to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Vijay, as a token of our gratitude.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
To propose vote of thanks, may I request Dr. J. Krishnamurthy,
Yes,
Professor and Head, Department of Metallurgical Engineering.
dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, invitees, guests, faculty members, and student friends, good afternoon to you all. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks in this gathering for 4th Dr.G.Padmanabham Endowment Lecture. First of all, I express my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. R. Vijay, Director, ARCA Hyderabad, for readily accepting our request to deliver this lecture. We are thankful to Dr. Prasada Raju sir for bringing this eminent, outstanding speaker to give this lecture today for us. At this juncture, I sincerely thank Madam Rekha, Dr. Padmanabham's family members for their gracious interest in installing Corpus Fund to conduct this Dr. Padmanabham Endowment Lecture by PSG Tech Alumni Association in association with Department of Metallurgical Engineering, PSG Tech. I thank Dr. B. Giriraj, Patron, and Mr. Karthik, Vice President, PSG Tech Alumni Association, for gracing this occasion with their presence. I place on record our thanks to the Principal and Management of PSG College of Technology for their continuous support and encouragement in conducting the activities of the department. I thank the faculty members from the Department of Metallurgical Engineering, PSG College of Technology, PSG Polytechnic College, PSG IAS, and the students from PSG Tech, PSG Polytechnic for attending this lecture program. I thank Mr. P. Manigandan, Alumni Coordinator of the Department of Metallurgical Engineering, Alumni Association staff members, students, volunteers whose efforts are instrumental in organizing this event successfully. On behalf of PSG Tech Alumni Association and Department of Metallurgical Engineering, PSG College of Technology, I once again thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
With this, we come to the end of today's program. Thank you all for your gracious presence. Have a wonderful day ahead.